Good morning, humanity. It's November 22nd, 2021, and it's our favorite time of the week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody, I'm Paul.
Good morning. This is Bev.
There were too many 11s and 2s and 1s and
Susan.
2s. I'm like, 11 to 20. It is funny. So let's see, we got 11 November and then 2, 2, and then 2021. Boy, it's all twos and
Oh
ones.
man, we're gonna. It's just gonna be getting better and better.
Hey, everybody, we have another wonderful Monday show for you. We're always open to questions that you'd like us to answer. Otherwise, we make up our own and enjoy listening to ourselves
Yeah,
talk.
we
So,
make up our own stories here.
and today we're going to talk about just do it. Just do it. Just do healing work. And, when we set this up, the big question we say, well, what the heck does healing work mean? What does that even mean?
I know.
So, so, so what
Good
is,
question, huh?
yeah. So, we were talking about what is work, even this word work, because
Yeah,
people talk about that a lot with everything they do,
they
spiritual
do.
work, healing work, and then they relate that to going to work. So,
Oh well.
you
And what
know,
does that mean? It takes effort. It takes, you're toiling at something or endeavoring to, you know, um, maybe forcefully making things happen and all this kind of stuff. And I immediately thought, well, that's exactly the opposite of when you practice biotouch.
right,
It's not work.
right,
It's effortless. It's just taking those two fingers and lightly touching on the skin, specific sets of points. And, if you want to talk about work, then at that point, it's the body that sets to work because now it has a tool that it can do what its intention is, and that is to be whole and in balance and healthy. So
right.
when we talk about we are doing healing work, well, I'm not sure what the heck that means.
But the key here is we want people to do it. We're still stuck in this. If I walk through a wall, I'm still going to get a bloody nose. So there's still this identity with the body, and
Right.
we're just here today to encourage us to to practice something, do something. uh, it sort of reminds me of the Tao Te Ching, the effortless effort. you
Well,
know
the do something in biotouch is the touching
right.
because there's no intention. You don't have to prepare anything. You don't have to set to work and get your little environment all cute and woo wooey. You don't have to do any of that. You can do it
Right.
anywhere. Do it on the street.
And it's interesting because in our manual in the beginning, we say, we're not here to teach you how to do something. We're
Right.
here to show you how to touch some points and let the process unfold. And it really is an undoing
It's
process.
an undoing. That's a very, very, maybe that's what this show is. What's an undoing process? Because if you think about it, for every action, there's a reaction and da da da, and all these things that we throw around, these idioms that we throw around. When when you do biotouch or something like that, you are awakening something that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
We biotouch lets us be a very important part of another side of something, but it's the body that recognizes what it's being given. It's the body that's doing, I think that's the subtle thing about biotouch that we kind of like hold, and that's why we say it's accessible to everyone,
Right.
is because there's nothing of work involved. You're giving the body what it already is holding, and that's why we
Right.
say it's so innate. It's just part of its whole process of awareness, of that self-awareness, that it brings to each of us.
And it's interesting too. We always talk about how the biotouch or any other healing technique, healing work, it all comes from the same place. You know, if you were to trace all these techniques back, and every year there's more and more techniques, and I get it. You know, people need to make a living, and they need to trademark a particular thing in order to distinguish themselves from other techniques. But if we trace them all back, they healing it all goes back to the same thing of healing. And in that level, we'll never understand what that is.
Right.
But you know, I always like to share the thing of somebody stood in front of somebody who had an ailment or a pain, and they did something. They waved their hands or they touched, you know, the left with the right. And anyhow, they did something and that person got better. Okay. Now they had no idea where that came from. Some histrionics that they did.
Right.
Somebody got better, and then they did it again, and oh wow, that worked again. And then pretty soon, what you have are two or three people who say, "Yeah, go over here to Sam, and he does this weird thing, and it worked." Well, once you get two or three people to agree to something, now you've created a belief system in it, a technique. And
Yeah.
so, in order to get it out to humanity, you got to name it. So then you name it, and then depending on how many decades or centuries later, you're teaching that same technique, of which over all those centuries, things have been added, things have been taken away. And at that level, biotouch is just another histrionic. You know, it's
Right.
just another movement of the hands, some magic waving of the wand, you know, no different than the medication we take. It's all a waving of the wand.
Could
But
be placebo.
right.
That's
But
another show.
you know, over and over for decades now, we keep seeing people get better. And what distinguishes this, as Bev was just saying, it's accessible to everyone. You know, every if you live in a body, whatever this touch is, wherever it was given to us, from wherever it came from, however many centuries or tens of thousands of years ago, and was reawakened in this guy named Norman, we can do that simply without a lot of belief system or manipulation, or as we were just saying, it's not work.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
give it to a
It's
6 year
that's
old and they just play. It's almost like playing with blocks for them. Oh, okay. You know, they
right.
they just do it and run out and want to play again. So
How fun. How fun to think about that. It's like, yep, you've had your fix today. Let's go
right,
and get about the business of living,
right, right, right.
you know?
So you know, if you want to write in the comments there, what is work for you? What does that mean to you? We also wanted to talk a little more because people are always asking us, you know, well, how does biotouch relate to some of these other healing techniques out there?
Yeah.
And I always remember when we had Kenneth Stevenson, Dr. Kenneth Stevenson from the University of Texas at Tyler, who had never done any kind of healing modality, anything that was alternative complementary. She was very standard allopathic, and she didn't understand all these techniques, Reiki, healing touch, therapeutic touch, Joe Ray. Those are the ones people mostly compare us with.
Right.
And so she went online just to research what the difference was. And I'm always thrilled by this because she just related, as you were saying, biotouch was just like a motherly touch. She called it the kangaroo touch.
Kangaroo touch.
And, um, and so she made this little chart where she related the different kinds of methods that these different techniques work with, centering yourself or meditating or having to put yourself in a certain state. As you can see, biotouch and kangaroo grooming touch, you don't have to do that. With reading and unruffling, having to do assessments, you don't do that with biotouch, neither with kangaroo grooming touch. The baby's crying, you just hold it. Skin to skin contact is always with biotouch and kangaroo grooming touch. And hierarchy and attunement is never with biotouch and never with kangaroo grooming touch. If you're a mom, you're a mom. You might have all kinds of social, economic situations going on, but moms are moms. So that's where BioTouch is. It's just
Yeah.
so simple.
And
It
that's simply one of the challenges.
right, right,
Because most of humanity, we have all been programmed, we're under the impression or the perception that in order to contribute or do anything worthwhile, you have to work. That word has become ingrained in us, that you have to fight your way up and through, and if you're not working, and that word has really taken on some connotations that it's laboring here. Why are we laboring so much? Then we don't get a chance. And I'm sorry, laboring leads to stress. And as we all know, even the traditional medical field has conceded that stress is 80% of all basis for dis-ease
right.
in our bodies. I don't think we have any idea the levels of stress that we're all under on a daily basis. I really don't.
Yeah, man. Let's
Things
just
are way below our awareness that's happening to us on a daily basis. And I'm
yeah.
telling you, this is for me why BioTouch is so doggone important,
And I'm
because
showing that
it's
chart while you're
so
talking.
accessible.
Right. And I'm showing that chart while you're talking. All the
Right. That
stressors in our
stress
daily
chart
life.
is
Yeah,
blows your mind away.
it does. And many of those things we can have some control over. Many of them we can't. And that's
Right.
what's creating this chronic stress and cortisol dysregulation, immune
Right.
dysregulation, and all these diseases we're getting dementia, cardiovascular disease, infections. We're really going with that right now.
Oh
And
yeah.
tumors and mood disorders and obesity. It don't matter whether you call it this virus or that virus or this disease or that disease. It's all, as you can see here, this was done by Dr. Stevenson also. It's all coming from constant chronic stress. And
Yes.
if you put BioTouch into that stress cycle, you can reverse a lot of those problems. It's not a slap on your forehead, get better, or go away. It's a
Right.
consistent.
Yeah. No. No. This is serious stuff, because we're talking about something that we can all do that changes the quality of our health, can change the quality of our life from that.
Right.
This is some serious stuff here. We have to take our place in the healing community, on a global level. That's what BioTouch is here to offer. We're an international foundation, and our job, our work, is to share BioTouch with everyone. Everyone is accessible to do this. So I think for me, and BioTouch brings this softness. It brings this presence when we practice it. It has the ability to quiet us down from all of that working and laboring in the world, and gives our bodies a chance to just relax and breathe for a moment, and to recognize that it is the one doing the healing work. I think
Right.
that's really the significant point for me,
Right.
letting the body do the healing work by
So yeah,
just touching.
it is a tough one to give up the doing mentality,
I
the
know.
work mentality, but we're here to remind us all it's really quite simple. Not easy because of what we were just talking about, because that mind just wants to complicate
Oh
everything.
yeah.
But it
Puts up
it
those barriers,
right.
right? Yep.
Simple but not easy. The
Right.
simplicity of BioTouch is here. We're here to share this constantly at justtouch.com. I'm just reminded Marisa over in New York just had a class this weekend.
She
Taught her
did.
family how to do it, and a dear friend of hers, she's getting ready to do another class with some folks from Venezuela,
Oh
and
wow.
so she's all gun ho on getting this into that particular part of the world. And we hope that you'll want to learn BioTouch so that you can take it to your part of the world. And it doesn't have to be that you're become a teacher or that you become certified in this. We have
Right.
all these different aspects of participation. We don't have levels.
No, not at all.
And that's important in this. We're all equal. We're all, and I always love to say it, we're all bozos on this boat.
Yeah,
And as a bozo, we all have these fingers, and somebody said, well, what happens if they don't have the fingers? Well, whatever's left there is emanating something. And
right.
with that light touch, we can bring healing work into our family. And we're not talking about a lot of time. So when we say just do it, just do it. Take 30 seconds, take a minute. And if you have some problems, and you want to work with a particular problem, we can help you with it. We have a manual that has all kinds of different sets of your allergies, heart problems, lung problems, whatever you're working with.
Anything,
Anything. If the
everything
body
the
can
body can
hold the
manifest.
problem,
Yeah,
BioTouch can address it, and it's a great complement adjunct to your standard healthcare. You don't have to stop doing anything else. Just add this to your protocol, and then work with your healthcare professional, work with your alternative care professional, your integrative medicine doctor, and let them know, hey, I'm doing this thing, and so that you can watch the numbers change, and you can watch the body change, and you can feel pains come and go. BioTouch is about self-awareness, which is merely an awareness of myself in this body. That's the first step. I mean, how many of us
great.
aren't even aware of this body?
I know. We have a lot of work to do on
A
that.
lot of work. So we always want to make sure we teach something here before we sign off. So we're going to teach you allergy, infection, and poison sets here today.
The infection, allergy, and poison sets are 3 separate sets of points. They all share the same hold point, which is the same as greeting point 1, located in the fleshy area just below the base of the breastbone. As with all sets of points, these may be touched repeatedly. Infections of any kind anywhere in the body may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 1, which is at the base of the large muscle on the right side of the neck and slightly above and behind metabolism point 1. Allergies or allergic reactions may be addressed by holding X and with the other hand touching point 2, which is on the right side of the neck, directly behind metabolism point 3 on the top of the large muscle. To address poisoning within the body, hold X and with the other hand alternately touch point 1 and point 2.
Boom. Simple.
There you go.
It's
Yep.
I can't believe how simple it is. I mean, pretty much every morning I do that allergy for Jenny, and she immediately can breathe, and she's really
Well, I guess maybe isn't the way we can end up is the less, because we say this all the time, the less effort, the less work that you do with BioTouch, the more the body seems to sense it.
right.
It's almost like don't overdo it here. Just something very loving and light and being in the presence of somebody else. That takes no effort. That is not work. That is love. So let's not overdo it here. Let's just touch,
And that's our website, and that's our whole philosophy. Just touch. Use BioTouch to remind us to just touch the world lightly, touch our relationships lightly.
Lightly.
This whole simple touch healing technique can be applied to every aspect of our life. And we are here to share it with you. And thank you, Bev, for sharing another Monday with me.
Thank you, Paul, for being with me and all of you for being with us.
And we'll see you all next week. Oh, and have a really wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
No matter what your belief is with that and however you're going to practice it, we are with you. Keep on touching. Thank you all.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. A healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.